storytelling on social media. Now, why do I have this graphic in front of me? Well, you can see my screen, right? Okay, awesome. You can see my screen, and for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to take you through my thought process behind storytelling on social media. I've been doing this for the last 8 years. I have been working with various brands, running my own agency, and now for the last 3 years, been teaching at Digital Vidya. And the idea behind this topic was that, when I started teaching at Digital Vidya, the first thing they asked me was, Zen, what are you good at? What do you want to teach? And I'm not a technical person, honestly. So my base instinct was, let's go back to the thing that you're good at, which is social media. So I started with social media, and naturally, somehow, I don't know, I've always been good at singing, drawing, sketching, and I enjoy filmmaking, doing photography. So this is something that comes to me naturally. And for the last 6 years, I've also been running a brand called Broz. If you want, you can go and check that out. It's one of the few, I would say, I think a handful, we can count on three, four fingers, brands who are into planning public spaces with street art and graffiti. And for the last 6 years, we've worked with various brands. Right now, we have a campaign going on with Fevigrill and with Breeze Away with Shuffle. And previously, of course, with a lot of festivals, state governments, we've worked. So when I see art and when I make social media, this is what comes to me. And I love observing brands. And I want to share some of my thoughts in this next 40 minutes. What you see on your screen here is a graphic that you of course know what this is, the blue pill and red pill. Which movie am I referring to, by the way? Can you guess? The Matrix, absolutely. I love that franchisee, and there are three parts to it. I think there'll be a fourth coming up. But this particular part in the first movie really captured my attention because the way the first part has been created, it is a beautiful example of storytelling, and all the skeleton and structure of how you're supposed to guide the audience from one form to the other has been encapsulated. Um, and one of the things I learned from this graphic, or rather, I have it in front of you, is because you had a choice. There was a link. You had a choice. If you wanted, you could have carried on with your life, but you chose to click on that link. And now you're here in this little rabbit hole with me. So, welcome. Welcome to Storytelling with me. And there's one more choice that you have actually at this point, that or rather, this is my choice. Either I could have gone on to give you some amazing examples of brands who are doing great storytelling on social media and showcase you what they're doing and inspire you, which is what we should do. But I thought I'll take my time today. Instead of focusing on those examples, I'd rather focus my time on little bit of basics, the fundamentals, the structure, which is unfortunately uh, misunderstood sometimes. And I feel what I know, if I can share that with you, that will be awesome, and you can tell me how it goes. So let's move forward. Thank you, Shamnas, for inviting me, and to all these wonderful speakers who are present among us today and will be speaking after me, have spoken before me. My students, in fact, were there yesterday in the session, and they were so happy that, sir, you gave us the link, and this is so awesome. Such kind of things should happen more and more. In fact, I would love to be part of future editions as well. So, storytelling on social media with Zain Siddiqui. All right. I want to start off with, first of all, the basics, the absolute basics of storytelling skeleton, which is the hero journey. How many of you know or are already aware of this principle of hero journey? There are 22 people here participating. How many of you use storytelling? And I'm guessing most of you are like marketeers, social media, digital marketeers in your own way. and you are using it in a way, but how many have got onto this or have gone through this little theory? Okay. um I'm actually surprised to know that there are some no's over here. So that is precisely why I had this slide over here, because um, we know that storytelling is important for social media, for all of marketing, of course. But what is storytelling? It comes from the ancient times. As human beings, we have all been trained, literally trained, actually. If you go back to some more scientific theories, especially, for example, there's Noam Chomsky, who's a linguistic professor in the US, very famous for his political views. But he says that this storytelling structure is basically woven into our fabric as a human being society. And that's precisely because for the last 100,000 years, our ancestors have passed down the information in the way of stories. And the way these stories are structured, you must have seen, from the Bible to the Quran to religious texts to even like basic stories. In fact, the oldest known story is that of from I think 3200 BC. There's this amazing tale from Urk, and that also has the same elements. There's a hero, he goes out on a journey, and then he, kills the villain, then he comes back victorious, and the cycle goes on. He has multiple forms of stories. So I just want to show you one small video before we move forward. It's a TED talk, TED video actually. I'm going. Since I'm sharing my screen, I think the sound is on. Rather than me explain more about this, I want to show you the video itself. So I'm just going to get out of this. Can you see my screen now? LinkedIn has, by the way, irritated me with these ads. At some point, I need to disable them.
What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth, or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern? Status quo, that's where we start. 1 o'clock, call to adventure. The hero receives a mysterious message, an invitation, a challenge. 2 o'clock, assistance. The hero needs some help, probably from someone older, wiser. 3 o'clock, departure. The hero crosses the threshold from his normal, safe home and enters the special world and adventure. We're not in Kansas anymore. 4 o'clock, trials. Being a hero is hard work. Our hero solves a riddle, slays a monster, escapes from a trap. 5 o'clock, approach. It's time to face the biggest ordeal, the hero's worst fear. 6 o'clock, crisis. This is the hero's darkest hour. He faces death and possibly even dies, only to be reborn. 7 o'clock, treasure. As a result, the hero claims some treasure, special recognition, or power. 8 o'clock, result. This can vary between stories. Do the monsters bow down before the hero, or do they chase him as he flees from the special world? 9 o'clock, return. After all that adventure, the hero returns to his ordinary world. 10 o'clock, new life. This quest has changed the hero. He has outgrown his old life. 11 o'clock, resolution. All the tangled plot lines get straightened out. 12 o'clock, status quo, but upgraded to a new level. Nothing is quite the same once you're a hero. Many popular books and movies follow this ancient formula pretty closely, but let's see how well The Hunger Games fits the hero's journey template. When does Katniss Everdeen hear a call to adventure that gets the story moving? When her sister's name is called from the lottery. How about assistance? Is anyone going to help her on her adventure? Hey, Mitch. What about departure? Does she leave her ordinary world? She gets on a train to the capital. Okay, so you get the idea. What do you have in common with Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo? Well, you're human, just like them. The hero's journey myth exists in all human cultures and keeps getting updated because we humans reflect on our world through symbolic stories of our own lives. You leave your comfort zone, have an experience that transforms you, and then you recover and do it again. You don't literally slay dragons or fight Voldemort, but you face problems just as scary. Joseph Campbell said, "In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek." What is the symbolic cave you fear to enter? Auditions for the school play? Baseball tryouts? Love? Watch for this formula in books, movies, and TV shows you come across. You will certainly see it again, but also be sensitive to it in your own life. Listen for your call to adventure. Accept the challenge. Conquer your fear and claim the treasure you seek. And then, do it all over again.
All right. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you could relate it to all the movies and the books that you have been reading up. For all our lives, we have, of course, been exposed to stories right from our grandmothers, and we've always seen this pattern, right? Essentially, if I had to break it down, it's basically this one guy who who is first drawn into an adventure, then overcomes a challenge to come back to his normal life with some kind of you know um, it could be an epiphany, it's some idea, reaffirmation of your beliefs, or maybe basically just overcoming your fears. The one common link between all of them, apart from the fact that you have a hero and you have friends who help that hero and he may have some magical powers, let's say, is the fact that there is a journey that is taking place. And when you relate, so now the next question is, why am I talking about this? Why is this not just limited to books and movies? Why do we need to relate it to brands? And then you start thinking about Apple, then you start thinking about Google, and then you start thinking about Indian brands who are competing against the Chinese brands, and they get into this competition and they want to overcome them. So this story of our life is literally happening all the time around us. And the main question the brand needs to really start off with asking themselves is, why should people follow you? Because your storytelling channel is social media, right? People are following your story on social media. So the main question the brand needs to answer is, why should they follow you on your journey? And what are they going to get out of it? If you're going to offer the same thing as your customer, that's a bit hard to digest. Maybe you want to motivate them, maybe you want to give them some information. The best case would be that you can combine it through videos, through pictures, through text, through offline events, through conversations like this, these conferences. That's brand storytelling. But sometimes it can get random. Yeah. Sometimes it can be extremely random. And that's why I'm here to talk to you about how can we structure these stories for our brands. So yeah, once you've answered this main question, why is your story different? Why should people follow your story? Then we can actually proceed to design a small storytelling journey, which now, if you see on your screen, this next thing is hook, journey, call to action. Everyone who is a copywriter has been writing content for social media might be aware of this little structure. And essentially this is what we see everywhere, right? From YouTube videos which have a thumbnail which acts like this hook, to some uh, abstract line which somebody says, I'm going to die today, on LinkedIn, right? That's the first line you see. I'm going to die today, and then this dot dot dot, you're supposed to click on the see more. It's clickbait, and then you click on it and you're hoping that you're going to get something amazing. Sometimes you get disappointed because it's just a marketing message, and people skip to the call to action that, hey, go and buy my workshop, go and buy my course, go and buy my product. But sometimes actually you can do better. You can tie in a journey over there, and the journey, when I say that, can be as long or as short as you want. It doesn't need to be like a Harry Potter book stretching across 7 parts and 5,000 pages. It can be a short story. Essentially, it can be just you overcoming a pain point. So, I had only 2 hours to prepare for this session. I managed to use Canva to create this presentation, small little story. And now I'm here. Canva is my little helper, my friend, my tool, my magical design, buddy. And he has helped me over here. So that's my journey. Now, every piece of content that you're creating on social media, on the web, right from the favicon on your website to the emailer that you send to your employees as an HR, or probably the branding that you do on your store, is all adding to your storytelling, or in other words, some people also like to view it as branding. So every piece of content must follow this call to action, journey, hook, feature. Second thing we can do is know a little bit more about the challenges on social media, because storytelling in the traditional sense is like watching a movie in a theater or reading a book. You have to sit there for 3 hours. You've seen the story, amazing, awesome. Or if you're reading the book, it's in your hand, it's a continuous story for 300 pages, awesome, you enjoy that. Or you're watching this session over here, this is for, I don't know, 45 minutes, it'll be over, awesome. But on social media, there are a lot of challenges. It's not so simple that you just sit and you expect the audience to stay till the end, right? In fact, the biggest challenge is that people have short attention spans. And on top of it, these people are not even actually going to stay on Facebook for more than 2 minutes, maybe. Boss will walk in behind them and they'll quickly have to hide the phone. Or maybe you're just on the bus and the network is going out and in, and you're struggling to just scroll through Instagram. Or you're on YouTube, let's say, you think you have half an hour to watch a web series, but then suddenly somebody has to close the screen because your mama calls for dinner. So in addition to the short attention span, people are forced, in fact, by behavior of mobile and desktop consumption to restrict their one-time use as such of social media. So how does a brand overcome this first challenge, first of all, on social media? Let's assume you have your story. Let's assume you have thought of why should people follow my brand on social media? What kind of story am I going to tell? So most of the brands, what they do to overcome this challenge of short attention spans, they create 90% content in the form of short form, in the sense anything like a meme or an image or a photo or a 30-second video, or now Instagram has our feature called Reels. The story feature on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook is another example where you can create just short form content, simple. So that's one way to get out of that. Another way is to create the long form content where you actually take the liberty. No, you stand your ground. You'll be like, nahi, maine video banaya hai, I have this presentation, it has to go for 45 minutes. The audience, if they want, they can leave, I don't care, but they need to stay for that 45 minutes. You need to have immense confidence to do that, or there needs to be an amazing reason why people need to stick around for that long. And because people are not having that deep reason to stick around for that long, you see Very few brands invest in the long form content, and many of them just happy with the short form content, which is perfectly fine actually in our world, which is perfectly fine. However, there are certain brands who position themselves as only long form resources. This happens especially if you're a blogger who's fond of writing. I'm like, मैं तो 6,000 word का ही article लिखता हूँ भाई. I do immense case studies. Or you're on YouTube and you're like, I'm going to analyze a brand. Or you're some, I mean, actually, all of YouTube content is generally 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour long. In fact, there's one particular channel I want to um, type the name out here in the chat window. It's called like Stories of Old. Now that we are talking about storytelling, just go and visit this channel sometime. It's an analysis of stories across books and movies and the human space. um, and it has such I mean amazing analysis of stories and what are the things and emotions that tie us to these stories. Why do we as human beings are even connected to the stories? And they always create half an hour, 40-minute, like 30-minute videos, and but I enjoy watching them. I take my time out. I save it to my watch later list, but I do that. So that's a positioning that the brand has done. But you can only do this if you position yourself like that, or maybe for certain cases where users are in the bottom of the funnel. Yeah, most of us know about the user journey: top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. This is mostly for the middle or bottom of the funnel. In fact, even middle of the funnel agar dekhoge, usko bhi agar bottom ki taraf dekhoge, to that's where you're really connecting with these long form people. The likelihood of this going viral is, you know, equally high as short form content. You might think कि नहीं नहीं सिर्फ स्टोरी ही वायरल होती है या फिर 30-second वीडियो ही वायरल होता है. No, long form content can also go viral, but it's going to go viral in those small circles, right? The community is going to be smaller, the number of people who are going to watch this is smaller. It doesn't mean that it's not viral enough. Like if you have a brand manager who comes up to you as an agency and says, yaar, we created this video last year for 1 minute and that has 1 million views, but your 10-minute video only has 5,000 views, how can this be viral? He's judging you on the wrong parameters, because you did well within that limited circle of people who were actually interested. So in fact, YouTube and Facebook, I hope you all know, give you that metric which says how many people actually watched your video till the end, or how many people watched your video for 75% of the length. And based on that, in fact, that will be an amazing parameter to go and remarket your videos as well. So long form content works amazingly well. So that's one thing, but you need to know the circumstances. Another challenge of storytelling on social media, which I have seen brands with, is the fact that storytelling is actually non-linear on social media. When I say non-linear, basically it's the same thing that I was saying previously, in addition to that point of short attention spans. When we say non-linear, these people are basically seeing one post today, then after 1 month they have taken a long holiday, now they are back, then again they will see your post on LinkedIn, and then again after maybe 1 week they will see another post. They're not logging in daily, or even if they're logging in, actually the algorithm itself of social media is preventing my post from being shown in my users feed always. That's the reason why we keep pushing our users to go and click the bell icon. Bhai, notification pe click kar do, get my notification, stay updated with my content. Or sometimes some clever people have also come up with the hack of creating small little WhatsApp groups. कि भाई WhatsApp के ऊपर 100% reach होती है, let's send 100% WhatsApp my link to whatever content on WhatsApp. Or you do the marketing for that piece of content over a period of time. You send emails, you send you put it up on the banner on your website, you're marketing it everywhere. Then the user cannot, in fact you use influencer marketing. You're like, let me push this piece of content as far out as I can just to make sure people see it. But yeah, this challenge is there, and for that there are two things again which brands can do, in my opinion, majorly. Number one, go with simple single posts. Create a meme, completely unrelated to everything else. आज संडे है, आज संडे enjoy. Okay, just Sunday motivation meme. Simple. Nothing to do with any product, nothing to do with anything else. This is just a single post. That's all I'm going to do. Uh, People engage with it or not, that will be great. But this is one single post. It has a story to it. It has a hook. It has a journey. It has a call to, it has some kind of insight to it. People might enjoy it, but it's unrelated to anything else that the brand is doing. Now that is one approach. It does work, but usually just for basic social media motivational kind of posts. The other thing which brands are doing on social media is campaigns. When you're tying together multiple social media posts using a hashtag or some kind of objective that um, we are going to do a series of events or posts for the next 1 week. We are just going to publish on this one topic. Nothing else will be published. My feed is only going to be full of this particular content. That brings the curiosity. That actually tells the person, okay, hey, I'm missing out on something. There's some kind of fear of missing out then. FOMO. Okay, yaar, acha, it's a web series, 7 episodes. Awesome. I've seen this now only on the third episode. What happened in the first and second? Let me go back. There's a campaign. So in fact, that's one of the reasons, by the way, a lot of these brands, the filmmakers themselves are starting to migrate to Netflix and other OTT platforms, where they see this scope of web series kind of content do really well compared to, let's say, banking completely on one movie for 2 hours on which you have spent so much money, and then you're riding only on the revenue coming from that. Better is to go for web series kind of content. Break it down. Game of Thrones. Another challenge on social media. How do you post forever? Now, as a brand, um, the challenge is that you're going to stay forever. You're not like some kind of a movie or a book that somebody just wrote it and that's it. Now, abhi uska second part aayega ki nahi, we don't know. So as a brand manager, as a social media manager, your challenge is, how do I keep posting forever, man? Mera ho gaya, campaign ho gaya. I've done one campaign, two campaign, three campaign. How do I keep going on forever? What is my content plan? One thing is to realize that it has to come from the positioning that the brand has created in the beginning. Yeah. The first thing they did was define their hero journey. They said, I'm going to give you a reason why you should follow me. So that is going to dictate the rest of the campaigns, and you can go infinitely in that direction. There are certain tips that we can have for that. First of all, you can have all the content in which brand is the hero. Yeah. Um, so talk about the brand being the hero. You can give lots of examples, like for example, first of all, talk about how did the company begin in 1980s, this, or in 1880s JRD Tata started Tata Group, like that. So Tatas have an amazing brand origin story. Awesome. Apple's origin story from the garage has been done to death, I think. um, and so on and so forth. All brands have their at least all the big brands, amazing brands, have really good origin stories to start off with. These can usually be long form blogs, or they can be 30-minute videos, whatever. Some brands go on to the extent of actually creating entire movies out of that. So that is some good direction to take in. Another is to talk about the product. Make the product as your hero. Don't just treat the brand as the hero, treat the product also as the hero sometimes. Like for example, for Apple, their iPhone series is basically the hero itself. People sometimes may not care about Apple as much as they care about the iPhone. Or for that matter, people don't really care about Alphabet, the company, but do care about Google, the product, a lot. So when the product starts becoming the hero, that's even more amazing. And for that, you can start marketing the product using its landing page, put out the pictures on an e-commerce store if you have to, give demos of the product. There are so many pieces of content you can create on a product, especially if you have a product line in itself, right? So that is one. Another way in which we are pushing brand as the hero kind of content is where we are talking about the culture of the brand. It's a community, it's a place. So who are the people over here? Let's show the faces of the heroes who reside within. So now again, the focus comes back to another sub hero within that brand story is the employees or the values that they have, or the CEO and his achievements, and the programmer and how he got to the company, and how you can also be part of the journey. Awesome. A lot of this content is shown on LinkedIn, essentially, if you see a lot of the brands. So this is one way of creating a lot of content, which is the natural way I see a lot of brands progress towards, because at the end of the day, you want sales. Yeah, you want sales. So this is what you want going out as much as possible. The question is this going to get all the engagement in the world? Is this what the reader was out to discover? I don't think so, because if you look at the hero journey of a brand, there can be another hero journey which comes out of it. So let's say I read about the Apple's hero journey. Awesome. Steve Jobs was an awesome guy. He created Apple. Okay, great. Or for that matter, Elon Musk is an amazing guy. He created SpaceX from starting with the origins of PayPal, selling it. What a stock market hero. Awesome. After that, what? At some point the user needs to start using your product. Somebody needs to sit in that space flight. Somebody needs to like me, somebody needs to start using Canva. And if you keep telling me how great Canva is or how great your product is, it has a limited shelf life. I'm not always going to keep marketing your product, or at least I'm not going to share your product everywhere. मैंने अभी एक बार गाड़ी खरीद ली, that's okay, but I'm not going to keep sharing that product specifications of your car with my friends, and I'll be like, hey, you know what, I mean, few people do that actually, especially if you have a very nice vehicle like a, I don't know, Enfield. I have some friends who are like, रोज एनफील्ड का फोटो डालेंगे. But somewhere along the line they're like, I am also sitting on the Enfield. I am enjoying that journey. Brand is not always the hero. In fact, it becomes the enabler. Now another story kicks in. Now your consumer becomes the king, the hero, and your brand has to become the mentor, the magician, or whatever in the story of, let's say, Dumbledore. What the part that Dumbledore plays in Harry Potter. अभी डम्बलडोर का खुद का स्टोरी होता है, awesome, yeah, but at the same time, it's the Harry Potter journey which people really remember, because that relates more to their normal human conscious. So then we shift to another mode of storytelling which becomes even more powerful, I believe, for our infinite content. Position the customer as the hero. And over here you have so many avenues, like unlimited avenues for creating content. You can start with just simply talking about your clients. Like there's this company, it's called Web Engage. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's one of the top 10 startups in India when it comes to SaaS based user journey and remarketing design. So it does amazingly well on its social media, because they talk about their client success stories. One of their clients, it's called Business. It's a new startup in the B2B space. They got funding, and then the other day I was seeing Web Engage social media, and Web Engage has shared a new post. They designed a new post, and they're like, congrats to business team on getting the funding, completely unrelated to their product and why their product would have been part of the journey. I mean, it's subtly implicated. Yes, we were part of their journey, but this post is about my client. This post is about his journey. Make them feel special. Map and solve the pain points of the user. Another infinite source of content. Your hero, we as human beings, if you look at it, can never be happy. We are never happy. No matter how great this presentation was, somebody is going to come to me and say, Zen, you could have given better examples. Zen, you could have done better storytelling. Zen, you could have done this, you could have added this, that. There's always this pain point for me to solve. So as a brand, or the UX team or the product team or the content team, we are going to design our audience journey, and we are going to map all the pain points on it, and then we one by one go around solving them. If possible, sometimes club them into campaigns. Yeah, club them into campaigns. Like, for example, what Zomato did with their COVID campaign. You remember what they did? They have a perfectly fine product. People were ordering. There was a lot of engagement on it. And then came COVID. Then came another pain point. यार अब तो मैं Zomato से order ही नहीं करूंगा. I don't like to eat outside food. Oh no. What did they do? Not only did the content team kick in, but also the product team, and they redesigned the journey as a contactless delivery, which then starts going out on their email and social media and packaging everywhere, solving the pain point of the user. So they did that for, and if you look at the number of posts which have come out of that one piece of pain point, I think that's more than like so many posts. I think there must be dozens and dozens. I think they've been running their content plan majorly on this one pain point. It's a campaign they've made out of it. Another Zomato example for a pain point. People, just like I was irritated with the LinkedIn ad, people were irritated with Zomato ads. Every day 9 o'clock रात होते ही Zomato का ad आना start हो जाता है. I'm like, देख लिया भाई, that's okay, thanks. I don't want to order anymore. But on YouTube, they're bombarding me. Zomato came up with solving the pain point themselves. They realized first of all that we are the pain point. Abhi kitna, as I said, people hate the brand after a point of time. They don't want to hear about it. So they realize it, and then they come up with a new contest. It's called Zomato Loot. You can go and check it out on their Instagram. 25 lakhs prize money. Crazy. I have never seen a prize money like that. And for 1 month, they ran that campaign. They encouraged users to create their own Zomato videos, and they promised, we are going to share this on our social media. We are going to reward you with 25 lakh rupees. People went crazy, man, crazy. I don't even know what are the exact stats, but it was all over social media. I'm sure some of you must have seen it. So these pain point solving is an infinite resource for our content, where we make the user feel as if he's the hero, he has the driving seat. In fact, after a point of time, if the user can create content like this Zomato Loot campaign, it becomes user generated content in the form of contest, or just repost some of those contest posts, or in general, like Cafe Coffee Day does, use hashtag ccd and we'll repost you in our stories. Awesome, keep doing it. Create challenges, create communities. I know this amazing gentleman, his name is Arbab Usmani. He's created this amazing community called Upskill. There's another gentleman present here among us. His name is Govardhan Dodi. He's created an even more advanced community of marketers called Niche Marketers. And these guys are like, okay, you are the hero. My customers, my users are the hero. We are all part of community. You create the content, we'll celebrate you. That's the concept of community again, which is an infinite source for our content. So these are some pain points of creating stories on social media that I thought I'd share with you. Last thing I want to tell you about is that it's not just about creating the content, it's about following through with the conversation as well. On social media, one special challenge again companies need to face is that it's not about कि मैंने अच्छा post बनाया तो अभी वो viral जा रहा है. No, no, no. It will go viral because you created it for the community, and then you have to follow through. You have to reply on the comment section. In fact, the reason people will share your comment is because you comment on their content. Yeah. I mean, imagine a brand which is so stuck up, who cannot even have the small little humility of going to their users' stories or posts and then commenting or just liking the post. They think as if just because everybody else is following me, it's their prerogative to go and follow me and comment and like and share my post. No, no, no. It's a two-way street, man. Everyone has the power of creating content now. So engage with your users, make sure that they remember you next time you create a post, and then they become your first early engagers. And if possible, reuse that content to come up with more stories based on the same theme. Make a campaign out of it, and then keep engaging the users on that particular theme. Reuse your slogans. So if you started out with, let's say my brand is called Wicked Bros, and we are injecting art into everything. Now wherever I go, I never miss the opportunity of putting this little line called injecting art into everything. I'm not kidding you. I do that all the time. So that kind of binds my users together. They always remember this slogan of mine, and they know that every action that the brand is taking is in that particular direction, and we are all on that journey with the brand. So just to sum it up, storytelling on social media is important. We all knew that before coming to this little talk. What I wanted to emphasize in this talk is not give you great examples. I mean, verbally, I have in a way. I've just tried to recollect some of those examples which you already knew. But I've focused on more of the structure of this storytelling on social media in terms of how do you design a hero journey, or rather, you should start thinking about it if you haven't, and think about the challenges that you face on social media and how is your brand going to overcome those challenges. And lastly, once you've created the story itself, it doesn't die out with the post. It actually continues. It becomes immortal over a period of time because it's stored in conversations and word of mouth that happens. That's it from my end. I have a small little document. It's called the Book of Links. Um, it's basically my experience of the last 8 years, in which I have summarized all sorts of links, from storytelling to social media to paid ads to web design, communities, stuff that I follow, articles that I read and was fond about. So I'll just, if possible, in fact, can I pass on the file here itself? I think I can. Just give me a second. I think in Zoom it is possible for us to send files also. There you go. I've just put a Zoom file here. So if you want, you can download it right away. It's a free resource document. You can pass it to your friends, whoever feels the need to start learning about digital marketing. This will be like a one-stop shop to start learning digital marketing on your own for free. That's it from my end. Thank you so much. I do not believe it to be a matter of hope. It is simply a matter of time, my friends, that you will all succeed. If you have any questions, please feel free to talk and chat here, or even open your mic. I hope you can see me. I hope I've not exceeded the time limit. It's almost 50 minutes.
It's okay. Guys, anybody have any doubts?
File is not showing up in the chat. I don't know.
It's there. It's there.
Is there?
Yeah.
It should be.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Hi, Zain. Can I ask a question?
Yes, who's this?
I'm Biswas. Yeah,
Biswas.
like you spoke about storytelling and and hero journey, right?
Yes,
So, like, just wanted to know if that is like the only way we can storytell, or why was that your focus for today's talk?
About the hero journey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I said in the beginning, I was very interested in filmmaking. I worked on a few short films back in 2012, 13, 14, and I was reading this book by Sid Barrett. It's on script writing and storytelling, and that's when I discovered this hero journey phenomena and this whole hero's journey with Joseph Campbell. So I got very interested in it, and over a period of time, because I was working as a social media marketer, digital marketer, I started noticing, what can you say, parallels between the stories that we see on the screen and read and what brands are doing. And that's when I started theorizing on this and started reading up more on how are brands doing storytelling exactly. And I came across a number of resources actually where this hero journey phenomena is not something unique. It's not my idea to use it for brands. There are some amazing brand managers who have done this over a period of time, multiple times. In fact, Ogilvy Mather, Leo Burnett, these agencies are full of these storytelling creative people who are using this exact formula to design the brand journeys. So I learned a little bit from them. There's another channel that I read about, which was specifically dedicated to brand storytelling, in which again begins with this hero journey formula. And there's nothing wrong with it, as I see. Like it's a very open-ended kind of philosophy that you can just pick and choose for your brand. Like for example, what role does your brand play? Like if you look at this hero journey formula, as I said in the beginning, or in the first part of every book or movie, you want your brand to be the hero. People should like your brand. People should appreciate the achievement that you have done. That's awesome. Now they fall in love with you. Then you come with a tool or a resource or maybe a program, if you're a service based or consultancy based agency, and you say, okay, hey, what I have learned, I'll teach to you also, or what I have invented, I want to share with you also. So when you start doing that, you're basically doing nothing but mentorship, the which happens in every story. So brands are following this, and that's the reason I shared it, assuming that many people would not be aware of this storytelling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sumanji.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for enlightening about storytelling. I'm really excited and learning more about it. I do have one question on this. A few days back, we all have seen the advertisements on White Hat Jar commercials, as well as WhatsApp. Educating about WhatsApp, taking into consideration an elderly women. So, thinking about storytelling,
Suman, what's the other brand? One is White Hat Junior. What's the other one?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, when you see they have enlightened with taking a elderly women on how to use WhatsApp.
Okay, I have not seen those advertisements, but okay, go on.
Okay, so like when I see on White and Jar, it was about the kids that within at the very young age they become CEO and things like that. It's like overwhelming for me being a mother. And when I see the WhatsApp ad, it's with the like a pain point, or you can say it's like heartfelt, where even elderly women at this age, say about 60 plus, they use this platform. They can use it, and irrespective of their age, they can learn at any age. So, what do you think? This two? I mean, I'm really wanted to understand about the concept of these two brands.
Right. See about White Hat Junior. Of course, there has been a lot of talk, and at least one thing they have managed to do is polarize the conversation. That's one of the reasons why I feel they have been so viral. I mean, there are so many brands who are in this space. There is code.org, which has been there for a very, very long time. Salman Khan, I mean, not Salman Khan, Khan Academy has been there for over a decade. But only very recently with this Byju's phenomena, and now with White Hat Junior, are people really sitting up and taking a notice that, hey, there are these apps which are teaching our kids coding. And the reason they're doing that is because, first of all, of course, White Hat Junior just got funded with $200 million, so they have all the money in the world to spend. A big part, which I did not talk about over here, of storytelling is the distribution. There are so many amazing short films, books that are created but never really reach their audience because the writer or whatever, the filmmaker or maybe the entrepreneur, doesn't have the budget to reach out to audiences. So that is unfortunate, really. Like, I think I might have, should have in fact added that point here, that all the storytelling will go to waste if you don't have budgets or the right connects to put it in right in front of your audience. Secondly, with the messaging hitting these audiences, which was wild. They had $200 million. I think their targeting was India, everyone. That's their targeting. So which works, and it polarized the conversation because their main target audience, what I feel, is these aspirational parents. Like, it's not like White Hat Junior is the first agency which is promoting kids to aspire to be a scientist or something. What's that, this little dance India dance kids, and there are so many other child, I mean, you have spell bee challenge, you have all sorts of kids fashion shows happening. Parents in India I mean, this is an insight we don't need to reiterate, but parents in India always want their kids to become first. They want them to be IITians. They want them to become, I don't know, go to NASA, do something amazing, make me proud, become the best, become famous. That's what kids are growing up with majorly, especially in the tier 2 cities and in the suburban parts of Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, everywhere. Yes, there is a more nuanced audience out there like you and me maybe, which doesn't believe that kids should be put through this. But unfortunately the reality is that kid parents, tie their children with a bat in the hand and say tu Virat Kohli banega abhi. That's happening already. And White Hat Junior has done something amazing where they have come upon this insight and they have acted on it and then integrated it in their narrative. When as a brand, I'm telling the story, I'm the mentor, I'm the tool that is going to help you get there. But वो किसको बता रहे स्टोरी? अपने ऑडियंस को. उनका ऑडियंस आप और मैं नहीं है, उनका ऑडियंस है वो वाला पेरेंट्स जो अपने बच्चों को whatever they want to make them famous and all these aspirational, and they hit the messaging right on the track. Everyone was scared until now. You must have never seen code.org or Khan Academy promise you anything like this, although they were doing the same thing. They were still teaching your kids coding and stuff, but nobody was promising it the way these guys are. Their messaging is so outlandish. उधर वो सीधा मतलब they're taking these celebrities and showing you आप ये कर सकते हैं, आप NASA में जा सकते हैं, promising you outlandish things, which captures the imagination of the audience in a way. And if you look at the best stories also that we all like, they are the ones which are you know out of our comfort zone. Like we all love Koi Mil Gaya, because there's this alien that comes and makes this retarded boy into this brilliant hero. We love that when we go to the theater, and we love that when some product comes and promises the same thing and it works in India. At least it's working. And it also manages to at the same time polarize the conversation. At least in few, I feel it's a very small circle of people who are really protesting against White Hat Junior. Otherwise they have amazing sales happening.
Okay. Like when we are a marketer, right? We do
Yes.
the storytelling, and once if it's a business, and when we don't follow the ethics in business, right? Do you think that this business would last long, or do you think that it is just like it would come, just like a snowball effect? Probably. I don't know. It might be.
It is here. I feel it is here to stay, because I mean, see, as long as Indians don't change, as we as Indians don't change our, I mean, when I say we as Indians, again, I don't mean the upper caste elite, so-called people. I mean the everyday man on the ground doesn't change his aspiration. तो वो ऐसा ही होता रहेगा. If you remember the dialogue from Gangs of Wasseypur,
Correct.
लोग चूतिया बनते रहेंगे. I mean, sorry to say that word, but that's exactly what it is. Like लोग फिल्में देखते हैं for this particular reason. So it is here to stay. I have this very strong suspicion. It may change in terms of its business model, maybe, because of whatever, if somebody comes up with the insight, we can charge less, maybe, or we should have some free goodies also, or maybe improve the overall scenario in which the sales team operates. But it is here to stay.
Okay. And the other one which I spoke about was WhatsApp, like, showcasing about WhatsApp, usaging about WhatsApp. Because there are many people, like everyone had the COVID attack and all those things, like elderly women were elderly segment where the men who were like hit on the target, and they were like, forced to stay at home, right?
Yeah.
What they need to do, they need to learn something. So for that they need to learn technology. So I believe WhatsApp has given some message. When I see White Hat Jar, when I see the message of WhatsApp educating, I believe there's a drastic change in storytelling, probably.
Yes. It comes from the first thing which I said. What is the hero journey?
Correct.
Abhi, White Hat Junior ka, we don't even know the hero journey, honestly. Like as of this moment, the only thing I know about them, that it was a startup that started just 2 years ago. And the background is that they have been bought by Byju's, and Byju themselves are just out to make money. That's what I understand. I don't know about the rest of the people on the ground. Whereas with WhatsApp, the scene is that it comes from a more nuanced background of storytelling. The fact that it is part of the Facebook group of companies, it's an international brand. And if you remember the hero journey of the founder of WhatsApp himself, right? He has created so many apps, and then finally he come upon WhatsApp. And WhatsApp, till the time it wasn't sold to Facebook, was still a very small 19, 20 people odd company, and very, very humble guys. It's always been very humble with its marketing. It's always been very nuanced that way. So when you see an ad like this come up across, they are never going to be flashy. They're never going to experiment like White Hat Junior does. They're not going to do that. In fact, I work with Facebook on many of their programs, including a program like this, which is called Digital Vidya, where we trained over 5,000 village level entrepreneurs. The video that was created for that program with the Facebook team was very, uh, you can say it was zingy, it was fun, but it did not have the element which White Hat Junior is. They were not promising you कि आपका लड़की अभी पढ़ जाएगा Facebook marketing तो वो next billionaire बन जाएगा. That's not what we are promising people. We just want people to be enabled to earn their livelihood and survive and make a name for themselves. Not put, we're not putting any image into their head that this is what you're going to become. So that's like the major difference between what White Hat Junior and WhatsApp is doing, which is White Hat Junior is putting labels onto their stereotyped heroes, whereas WhatsApp would not want to consciously give that imaging into your head. It's more of a nuanced background. Suman, I hope that answers you. Again, I'm not.
I am done with it. I thought I just wanted you to take an opportunity and answer other questions. Thank
Yeah,
you so
sure,
much.
sure, sure. Thank you. Yeah, otherwise, there's so much to discuss and analyze and strip away a brand at.
Hi, Zain.
Hello.
Hi. Firstly, thank you so much for giving beautiful insights and creating the pace of this session. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
And
buddy.
so my question is, let's say, what is the right amount of? I mean, what is the right time when you should start storytelling? Let's say, at what traction for any particular. Let's say, if it's a product, then okay, you can go storytelling from the initial base itself because uh, it's going to go have an impact on someone. But let's say if let's it also depends on products also. If let's say if it's an FMCG product, then storytelling would be different and everything. But let's say if we are talking about the service industry or something else, right? Then what's the right time? If let's say that brand is not known or they've just started, like let's say I'm helping some of the startups over here in Gujarat, right? So the basic is when should we start, our storytelling part? Because as you said that there is also a cost factor involved in storytelling. Because as let's say as you say
Cost
that
factor.
you need a cost factor. Let's say you need to advertise and everything.
No, when I say that, buddy, it means more like at the level of, let's say, when you're talking about White Hat Junior or a WhatsApp or something like that, like when you have hardcore messaging and you want to reach out to a lot of people. But storytelling, to just answer your question in short, should start from the day you are born. Honestly, that's what I feel. It's really, really unfortunate that as a society, we don't teach our children to realize the stories that we are living in, and then to tell stories. There is no course in our syllabus till class 12, even like we've done college, and we would never come across this hero journey or the skeleton, or nobody teaches us how to tell stories. Some people are just more interested in it and then become, better storytellers over a period of time. And then we all appreciate them. Arey, wow, what a person, he says so amazing. But we don't realize the fact that there's a science behind it. And we can all improve upon our storytelling. The distribution of it is a different question altogether. You're right, it comes with a cost, maybe of maybe either like investing in relationships with the right people, or maybe with spending on advertising. But the storytelling in itself starts from the day you're born. subconsciously it starts affecting the people around you. What do you do, what kind of person you are, and then as you grow up into this amazing person, preferably, hopefully, you may not speak the right kind of English. Maybe your English is broken, maybe your sometimes, you know, body language is not good, but little by little you can see people improving. And there's no right time to tell the story. In fact, the whole point of story is to tie all the pieces of your life together into this amazing little snippet of enjoyment and emotion that can inspire people. That's what the story is doing. There's a friend of mine, his name is Stone Santa. He had a company called Stone Santa. I don't know if you know him. Shashank Shekhar, I think his name is, I always, Shashank Shekhar. And he's a really great guy. He has been teaching colleges on entrepreneurship. He shut down his company, and he's still narrating his story of the failure, and he's now joined a job, and he's still narrating that also, that okay, this, his story goes on whether his startup ends or begins. So that's what I feel. I mean, at the end of the day, that is what is going to help people build that trust towards you, and build the authenticity, which is so important to establishing the connect with the audience. Otherwise, if a story is not authentic, you know, like a lot of us, why are we repelled by the White Hat Junior ads? Because it doesn't seem authentic. They seem like very salesy kind of people. So yeah, that's one of the things storytelling needs to accomplish, be forever.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I see some comments over here in the chat window. I'll just read up a few of them. Shrenik says, is it the one? Yes, there was a document. I think I must have shared it in the niche marketing community as well. I'll share it again on multiple resources. Otherwise, it's here in the chat. Ahmed says, apart from social media, how storytelling helps in someone's career? Storytelling becomes very important when you are becoming a personal brand. In 2020 and now moving into 2021, there's so much competition. Digital marketing has become such a low hanging fruit, or basically a lot of the professions, including your coding now, IT profession, is such a low hanging fruit. You don't even need to go to college. Anyone can start doing that, and therefore the prices have dropped. Now people are doing stuff for free which you used to charge $100. So the only thing that is going to make your client or agency or whatever go and pay you money for it is the storytelling, which comes with time and experience. And the same thing which I just said, like, it's a continuous process. Build your brand. There's nothing called perfect brand. Every brand has moments of crisis as well, which is okay. Celebrate it. Hota hai aisa. In 1958, Manchester United, the amazing football club, actually lost half of its football team in a plane crash. They started celebrating that movement. Every year on 6th of February, there's actually a ceremony which takes place where the brand lost the team, and they rose from the ashes to go on and win more European championships. So the brand or the person can take these personal failures and continue storytelling. So it's very, very important in our personal life as well. Again, it builds the authenticity for yourself as a brand. People would love to work with somebody who is straightforward, tells his stories. And yeah, I mean, in general, like, you know, when you're in a office room, even if you're not looking to get a job, let's say, somebody who has more storytelling capability is bound to be more respected, is bound to have his opinion valued more than, let's say, somebody who is absolutely an unknown in the room. So yeah, career positioning is definitely governed by our storytelling. Lino, hi. Now a lot of storytelling happens in regional languages, breaking the cliches of advertising. What would be the next level of storytelling when technologies are upgrading to artificial intelligence? I have no idea, Lino. We can all imagine and dream and hope for things. I'm not someone who works on artificial intelligence or stuff. But yes, I am very excited about the new formats of storytelling. Like, for example, there's the augmented reality now, and there's virtual reality, especially coming from the street art space where we use walls as a medium to tell stories. I feel the next revolution is going to come in that direction of augmented reality, virtual reality, especially when people are all sitting at home, becomes even more important. But yeah, I'm a firm believer in the fact that we cannot predict what will be there after 5 years. It's just useless for a company to build a plan like that. You can hope, but that's all.
Thank you, Zain.